Welcome back to Castle Class Presents Roll20. I'm your guide, Corey Longnecker. Thanks for joining us again. This is class number 5, where we deal with a little bit bigger dive into APIs, and we're going to introduce a couple of macros that leverage those APIs. So we're going to have 3 APIs that we add today, and 2 macros to leverage both of them. Just a quick reminder, this is a pro account subscription requirement, so you do have to have that in order to use the APIs. 2 of them are found within Roll20, and 1 of them is on GitHub, and we will have to go to GitHub in order to do that. I will give you the links. I will also give you the macro code below. It's pretty short, so I'll dump it in the description below so that you can just copy and paste that, and you'll be ready, set, go. So let's go ahead and get cracking here. Bingo bango. So let's jump this up and go to desktop and take a look. So again, with Roll20, anytime you want to mess with APIs, you go over here to settings and you go to API scripts. So this is where we're going to start. Last time we did put the D&D Beyond importer in there. And that you can see is ready to go. So let's go ahead and just restart the API sandbox. It's a habit of mine. Every time I come in here, I restart it. It just makes sure everything is up, that there are no errors or issues. So the first things first, we're going to add the 5E OGL companion by Roll20. So we go ahead and type that in there and we click on it. And you'll see that this has a lot of things that you can do. These are commands you can type into the chat window once you've launched your game and you've gone into it, that you can see. A couple of these are settings. Anything that has on-off quiet or on-off is a setting that you can choose to do. And then there's a couple things down here that you can manually type. We're going to use macros to automate this for it. Just a button click. The one that we're going to use is longrest, and the other ones are all on by default, as it tells you here. So you can turn them off. Like if you don't want ammo tracking, turn it off. If you don't want death save tracking, you can turn it off. But by default, they are all on. So let's go ahead and add this script. And you'll see that it's popped up here, but let's go ahead and restart that sandbox just to make sure that there are no issues. Looks like there it is. The scripts are ready to go. So let's go ahead and add the second one, which is ChatSetAttr. ChatSet attributes. It allows you to change attributes from the chat window, and that's basically what it does. There are a lot of things in here. If you want to read through all of these details to try to figure them out, more power to you. I've already got these macros going that are going to leverage it, and you don't really need to fully understand it. But if it's something that you want to try to tweak or change, or even find new settings or things that you want to do with it, dive in here and have a look. So let's add this one now. You'll see it's spinning up a new sandbox again. Beyond importer is in, and then the chat set attributes 1.9 is in as well. We're going to need to go to one more. This is a manual one. This is called AlterBars, and this is going to allow your the bars like hit points or armor class or speed or things like that to be altered within by the system itself. So let's go then to GitHub. I've already got it up here. I will provide the link. Again, do not copy out of here. That can cause problems. You always want to go over here and click on raw. And then with all this, you'll click Control-A to choose everything, Control-C to copy it, and then come down into the gray box area and Control-V to paste, and you will save the script. And you'll see it is spinning up a new sandbox. AlterBars is now on, ChatSet attributes is on, Beyond importers on, and by default, the 5th edition OGL is on. So we've got everything ready to go. So in here, we're then going to go back into our game, and we're going to launch it. And let me resize this so that you can see everything with the chat window, because there are going to be some things in here you want to see. Our friendly Aarakocras are here, and you'll be able to see that. So yeah, now what we're going to want to do is pop over here into the collection section, and what we're going to be using are these macros. This macro quick bar, if you see, well, it's down behind me. Behind my face down here in my head, there's a little gray area, and you'll see that all of the macros can be displayed down there. So as a DM, if I need to like apply it to an NPC or something like that, I can keep it down there. Or if my player's having an issue with it, I can always do it for them. So there's just a little space down here in the bottom left. It's behind this video feed right here where it's at. For the players, they're all going to be up here at the top. The ones that are available to them will all be up here. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a text file here that I'm going to use. And we're going to start with this first one here, which is longrest. So you'll see that the longrest command from the 5EOGL Roll20 compendium API is already there. And what that does is it takes the selected character. Again, you have to click your token before clicking the macro button. It won't be visible to you anyhow. And then it's going to apply a bunch of different things to it. And then it's going to spit out into the chat window that the name of the character, a long rest is taken, and then these things have been reset. So if you do have any class resources or other resources, that's something you'd have to set up in that character itself. They would get reset at that point too. So let's copy that. Let's come over here and add a macro. This is nice because you can resize this, and you can resize this too. We're going to call this long rest. We will paste that information in there, and we're going to show it as a token action so that the players can see it when they've clicked on their token. And we're going to apply this to all players. We click Save Changes, and you'll see this Aarakocra is a little low on hit points. It's 9 of 13, I believe, at this point. So we're going to click back over here into the chat window so you can see. We're going to click on our Aarakocra, and you'll see now there's this long rest button up here. So we can click long rest. It'll tell you that the long rest has been taken. And you'll see the 2 commas there afterwards that would normally be for those class resources or other resources. It does take a little while for this to reset. It kind of takes a second or two, so we can go ahead and while that's working, pull up the healing potion one. So again, we're going to go back to collections. We're going to add, and we're going to call one healing potion. Copy this text from down here. Now this uses the AlterBars command, or the API, and it provides you all the different types of healing potions. A regular healing potion, a greater, superior, supreme, and then full. We're going to show this as a token action to all players. I guess if you were a really strict DM, you could choose to only give it to the players who have healing potions, but that's a lot of upkeep to know who's got what. So I just trust that my players are going to be able to do that. And we want to show that as a token action, so when they click on that, they can do that. You can also choose a different target, which means if you wanted to pour one into a downed player's mouth, let's say I have a healing potion, my character, but my fighter is down, I can choose to pour my healing potion into the fighter. So that's kind of cool too. So we're going to save the changes there. Make sure that's in bar 2, so if I need to do it as a DM. And let's take a look back here in chat. We'll click on this guy. We'll drop healing potion on him. And let's say he's doing it to himself with just a regular. And something is not working correctly. What is not working correctly? Let's pop back over. This is some good troubleshooting. So let's exit the game real quick. We'll go back to here and let's see if something is wrong within the script. Sometimes when you add scripts, there can be errors, and this is exactly what we've seen here. It says the scripts are currently disabled due to an error that was detected. Please make changes to the script and click save. A lot of times when you add scripts, sometimes they don't interact well together at first. So what we're going to do, and this is kind of funny, all you're going to do is restart the API sandbox. And if you notice, it doesn't show any errors anymore. So let's go back to the game and see if that's rectified itself. So if you notice that your APIs or your macros aren't working, it may be that that is the case. So let's now take a look at this Aarakocra. Let's try this long rest again. And while that is working on its long rest, let's take this Aarakocra and let's drop a healing potion on it. Again, it doesn't seem to be working. So let's go back. Troubleshooting on the fly, everybody. This is part of the fun of APIs. It's probably going to throw this error again, and it does. So let's see what we've got here. If you click that, it brings you to the debugging, which tells you how everything works. So it's telling us here that there is a property of get of undefined, cannot read property get of undefined, at long rest, API script, JavaScript at this line. So it's saying right here there is something wrong in there with that. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It doesn't quite understand. Okay, so something is definitely going on here. It says, please make changes to your script and save the script button. So if you go back into here, we could save the script. Let's see if this took care of it. Try it again. If not, we're going to bump back to a previous version of that and see if there's any issues with it. So yeah, let's launch the game. And sometimes it's the order in which you add things. So we might have to go back and add the other thing later. So let's just check to see if this is running by doing 5e help. Yes. So we now know that this is working. So this is a really weird thing going on here, right? Like, we didn't really change any code. We've just clicked save or restarted sandboxes, and things are working again. So that's just a really strange. It's just really strange. It's just the way that these things go. Let's see if the other one is working by. Let's see if we can just do set attribute. Let's see if that kicks anything off. No target selected. So yes. So this is, even though this kicks this off and we don't have anything selected, we know that the API is running because it sent this back. So let's try this again. We've got the macros functioning. This one's here. We're going to take long rest. And I know I said it took a couple of seconds for that to hit, and it does say that it was used, so that does, in theory, work. But this might be what's causing our problem. So let's go back one more time and take a look. See, guys, I'm not doing this stuff perfectly. Like this happens. This is the real world with this. And again, it's throwing up this. It's throwing this up. So something is not. It's not liking this at all. And I'm not exactly sure why. So I'm going to restart the sandbox again. It could be that it doesn't like the fact that it's this Aarakocra, or that it's copied. Maybe that's the case. So let's jump back in and grab an actual character and see if that's it. Because if that's the case, it could be because I have 4 duplicated Aarakocras off the same one that's causing the issue. So let me drop in this player character here, and we'll show the nameplate, and we'll just make this hit points. You can click H to get there. There's 11. Let's drop it to 5. Save the changes. You can see this has 5 hit points. Let's run 5e help. That is working. So let's drop a, before I do that, let's see who's, yes, it's controlled by that person. Let's just try long rest on this and see what happens. And there you go. So that was the issue. because these were copied off each other, it didn't know which one to apply it to, and it was causing a problem within the code. So if you have singles, it will probably work just fine. So let me delete the rest of these. Let me delete that one, bring in a single Aarakocra again, and let me try running it on it now. So let's try longrest on it. And it doesn't like it. So there's something with this token that it just does not like. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's in this token itself. It could be that it was pulled from the monster manual and it's treated as an NPC. Let's take a look at its character sheet and see if that's the problem. And that is the problem. So, problem solved. Because this does not actually have a real character sheet. This has an NPC character sheet. That is why the issue is running. So, if you do have an NPC, make sure they have a real character sheet and not just a NPC character sheet within Roll20. So that is why that doesn't work. So let me show you the healing potion just to show you how it works. So you can go ahead and alter this. Let's say they've got 5 hit points again. And you click on that and you drop a healing potion on them. You tap it on them and you say it's a regular healing. And that one didn't apply. So this might be because of where the the hit points are. So let's look at the macro real quick. Healing potion. Target token ID bar 3. So what this is saying is it needs hit points to be in this third bar. Bar 3. It's only going to apply them if it's here. So let's move this to AC. And then let's move this to hit points. 5 of 11 hit points. We're going to save this. Now you can see it's got 5. Now let's try the healing potion. Target itself, regular healing. And didn't do it again. So, some more troubleshooting here. Token ID bar 3 equals amount. Okay. Not exactly sure why that is causing that problem. Bar 3 is that. Everything is fine there. Let's just look at the character sheet real quick. It should have a regular character sheet, which it does. It is showing their current hit points. So that's a little different. And then let's just look in here and see. Unfortunately, these are never done in order. See where its hit points are. There are its hit points. I'm not exactly sure why that is doing that. Take a look at the macro one last time. AlterBars. I wonder if AlterBars isn't working properly. Let's take a look and see. Let's take a look and see. That could be the case. So let's exit the game here. I know this is going to run a little bit longer because we're doing in-game troubleshooting. And you'll see it keeps dropping this error because I tried it before. So if we restart the sandbox, it probably is going to get rid of that error from that. AlterBars is showing as working properly there. You'll see that it is here. Let's just look at AlterBars and you'll see that the bar configuration, it's looking there. Okay, so let's go back here and let's pop back to our game. Maybe that error was causing an issue. Hard to say. But this sometimes is how things go. This isn't always straightforward copy and paste. Sometimes you have to go back and forth, and I know that's not what everybody wants to hear. They want, they want everything to be easy. Sometimes, as a DM, getting these things set up is just not that simple. Healing potion, target itself, type healing. There it goes. So that was the issue there. That previous error in there shut all of our the APIs down, and this one wasn't functioning. And now you can see Karadas heals for 6 hit points. So back to full. So again, before any time you log into your game, restart your API sandbox. After any API is added, restart your sandbox. Make sure that there are no errors. If something isn't working, go back to the APIs, restart your sandbox. Don't apply API macros to things out of the monster manual or things that have an NPC character sheet. They have to have actual player character sheets. Lots of different caveats here. However, you'll see that this is kind of the way it goes. So one last thing to do, and Roll20 keeps telling you this, every time you create or have a game or you mess with APIs, it's going to tell you to create a copy of your game. It tells you that right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this game. So we're going to go to Castle Class, we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to copy game. I'm going to call this Castle Class Backup, and today's date, 04/08/2019. And now I know that on this date, this is the backup of that. Sometimes I'll put in here too, like you can change the name of it here. Players don't use or do not sign in, so that if players aren't sure which one to use, that they can do that. The backup should signify it, but you never know. But there you go. So, a little convoluted. I'm sorry that it wasn't as straightforward, but that's reality. It doesn't always go to plan, and if I would have just dropped that on you and left it, you wouldn't have known how to fix it or why things go the way they do. So, again, thank you for tuning in. Some extra cool little macros there for your game to help your players out. Now you know how to fix them as well. And we'll tune in next time with Class 6, where we are actually going to be going over some cool stuff like a status tracker that allows you to track like Barbarian Rage or spell effects in the initiative tracker. We're going to go over an inspiration thing, so where if you have inspiration on your character sheet, it puts a little logo up on your token so you know that you've got it. And then token name number, which is really neat. It's more for DMs, and it's so when you copy a token out, let's say you've got a bunch of guards, it'll say guard 1, guard 2, guard 3, guard 4, and you can make sure that they're all different so you know which one is which, especially for initiative or things like that. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.